Hello, fellow bugs. Welcome to Purple Titk, in a series about lessons learned in the journey of my project car Miata, specifically what to and not to do. This series starts with me having no knowledge of cars or working on them, to eventually building race engines, custom wiring harnesses, doing engine swaps, and even doing a rebuild title process on this car and others. For more details on what I have done and learned since, smash that bell, subscribe, eat some grass, like, and comment. Let me know what you would like to see more of. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. So here at my friend's house, this is Miata again. I'm just working on some stuff, and then I went ahead and put the carpets in my trunk. It looked really well once it was put together. And then my friend got a Miata, and I convinced him to it, and we started using a stud gun to kind of pull this big dent out of the back quarter panel, and it worked. I mean, we bought that gun for cheap from Harbor Freight, and first time really using it, but it got the job done. It's getting most of the dent out. Okay, back to this one. I installed the ECU. So to install the Mega Squirt, I actually had to take the casing of the regular Miata ECU, and I had to, and you can see here, I kind of had to drill a hole through it, and it just screws right in just fine. But you still have to drill a hole to pass the wires through and stuff. But I did that, and then once in the casing, I installed it again. And then I went ahead and I passed the wiring harness back in through the car. Yeah, here's what it looked like in the inside after I put it, and I put the AC box because I do need AC in this car. So yeah, I got all the wires and still haven't taped them all. They're all just there shown because I still have to do final wiring to where they are, but I did tape them off at different locations. And here I started putting the brake booster, some of the wires, the clutch, and these brand new cylinders and stuff. And you can say I did a really good job at cleaning it all off as much as possible. And then I put the carpet. Once all clean, you can see it's a bit beat up. And eventually, I have planned and still plan on getting like some nice purple or black carpet to go inside the car. But for now, I still have this carpet to this day. It's fine. It really doesn't bother me. I could even dye it black if I wanted to. That's probably what I'll do. Maybe make a video on that. And then this is when I first put the engine on, and here's a quick video on pictures on the hoist. And I did wrap the headers. That's kind of why I painted them earlier. And don't do this. Just don't wrap your headers. Like, yeah, it's cool. It'll probably make the air flow faster and stuff because it retains the heat. But in reality, it's gonna make your welds more brittle, and it just leaves these nasty fiberglass hairs absolutely everywhere inside your car and everywhere you go. And working on your car, you just itch every time you would do it, so it's not worth it. And here we are kind of installing the engine in the engine bay. And that's when we fully set it in. And this is kind of where I got even more confident working on the car. And then I figured I've always really wanted a roll bar, like since I got the Miata, and that's something that everyone keeps saying. So I've been on the lookout for one, and then one day I saw an offer up. This guy posted about, no, not on Instagram. I saw someone post about their total Miata. So someone had crashed into this guy, and he had this roll bar. I think this is a bulldog or a bullfrog roll bars or whatever, and this one was really clean, really good, exactly what I wanted. Fit the glass window on the soft top, and I got it for I think like $300. And then I went ahead and installed it myself. It was a little challenging, and then the soft top, my soft top was all broken previously, so I went ahead on eBay and I bought a $150, $170 soft top kit, and I went ahead and did it myself. I laid it out on my floor, my old one. I took it out, and one of the pieces was broken for the retaining of the wire on the top. So I actually re-engineered it. I actually took that piece, I modeled it, and I took me a bunch of prototypes to really design it, but eventually I riveted it on, and I have a working one to this day in my Miata. So this is when I first got the engine in there and everything. I had my friend come back, set up the Mega Square with his laptop, and it was all set up. It was working. I mean, the car wasn't on yet, but the Mega Square turned on. Everything was good. And here's kind of after I cut the carpet, installed the roll bar, put the seatbelts back on, put the interior pieces. I cut the interior plastic panels as well to kind of fit with it. And for the interior as well, as I was moving forward, I put the AC stuff. I did take the boxes apart and cleaned all the flaps, and I can make videos on restoring the AC system stuff. And then for the engine cowl, that same guy that I mentioned earlier that totaled his Miata, I was actually able to go and pick up this engine cowl or windshield cowl cover. Normally I think these are like 80-90 bucks or something, but I was able to get it for like 20 because I was a bit dented here from the accident, because this whole part was caved in from the accident. And I put the nuts, the finishing nuts and bolts on it, and it came out really good. I did cut a hole here for the washer fluid, which I still haven't used the damn bottle. For the interior, this is with the seats back on. It's looking a lot better. I put the door panels on. Let's see, yeah, this is when I installed the seats back in, and this is exactly what I was referring to, the don't do this. This kit right here that I made DIY, just random pieces of pipe and hose, and this right here is actually a Home Depot clothes hanger pipe. So this is what goes in your closet to hold clothes and clothes hangers. I would not recommend this. This thing rusted in the inside, and this right here just would not recommend. I would have fully avoid. But I installed the injectors and everything back on, and I really do like this style of intake manifold, and I still have it. I just don't use it anymore because I have a new one in the car. But I might put it on, or I might sell it. It's really good. I prefer it, and this is a 2005 NB2 intake manifold compared to the earlier NB1 that's very desired, as well as the square tops. And I put the radiator back in and all this stuff, and the power steering, and this is me making that pipe. Just don't do it. So here's the engine. I didn't really have a solution for the actual intake pipe, so I grabbed this cheap kit online. It cost like, I think 15 or 20 bucks for this whole intake pipe kit, and it's universal, just one of those Chinese universal kits. And I was able to kind of fit it, and it normally comes with these cheap plastic clamps that go around it. So I just didn't use those, and I used tape for now to kind of mock it up. And I laid it all out. And this piece right here I actually was able to get. This is a IO Motorsports piece for their own intake box kit. But I was actually, the guy that totaled his Miata that I got the roll bar from, I also got that from him for like 5 bucks. So I was able to install it, and it actually worked very well because it had the perfect curvature to allow for this. And here I was testing like different setups of where to put the filter and stuff. And this piece now doesn't really work for my purpose, and I'll speak why as to later in this video. But here's kind of when I started really doing the wiring and cutting and crimping the right connections for the new engine, and really going in and sheathing all the material, or all the wires and everything in, and using heat shrink. You can see how I grouped them all together, and here I passed them through. This is what it looked like after I did the injectors, and not the injectors, the coil pack and the coils. When I did the wiring for them, it came out really good. And this part was a bit of a nightmare. I did a ton of research. I had notes. I had all the wiring diagrams all marked up, knowing exactly what I'm going to take off, put on, and so on, etc. And this is after I did a full rewiring. I cut, so I had also done a full wire tuck, really. So what I did is I cut all the wires, and I went ahead and I shortened them, fused them back together, made them run through the outside of the car. And here's me testing the new lens, and all the lights and everything worked again, so I was pretty excited about that. Here's when a wideband first turned on again in the gauge cluster. And then I really thought it'd be funny to put a compass up here, so I went ahead and did that. I put a compass in the top here, kind of know where I'm always going. I had to cut out some of the plastic in there, and it just fit right in. It just slotted right in. It's just friction, and it fit perfectly. So yeah, there's another picture of the inside with all my wiring stuff everywhere. As I didn't have the dash in yet, and that's gonna be, you guys are gonna see this dash was one of my biggest projects in this car, and I think it's a statement piece really in the inside. But this one I got these cheap Chinese gauges in. Just don't buy these. Just don't buy Chinese cheap gauges. I would just get like some AEM or glow shift or something, but these don't really work well, and the sensors are not that good. I had a lot of issues with these, and I'll get to one of the main issues I had that cost me so much time and money in this build is because of these gauges right here. So here's the Miata, another view as I was progressing through doing all the wiring. Still, this took a while. And here's kind of when we first turned it on. You can see it wasn't really stable. It was it was misfiring. We actually had a really loud backfire. This is the first time we turned it on. And you can see smoke coming out of the covers of the header. We weren't pushing it hard. We just had it turned on. You can see we're doing all the timing adjustments, and we're on the tuner studio setting it all up. And then I figured, okay, sweet, we got that set up. Now I can move forward with all the wiring. So started doing the wiring and covering it all off, and you can see how I did the wire tuck by sending it out here. And here's another picture of the inside as I'm progressing through. And you can see what it looked like afterwards. This is what it looked like after I did the wire tuck. All the wires are inside the fender well. There's no wires visible on this side. And that side was fairly easy. And then the aluminum pipes for the intake pipe, I had my friend try to weld it, and for some reason it just wouldn't weld. Like, I'm pretty sure this is an aluminum, even though it's advertised as it, and it didn't weld well. I actually had bought all the bungs and stuff to weld it on, and he was ready, and we tried, and it failed. So JB Weld did the trick, and I'll show more of that. But yeah, I put the fender back on. Here's what it looked like afterwards, and another picture from the side with the Haynes manual right here. Here's a view of kind of how I did the wires as they went in the car. They're all zip tied down. I got these zip ties that go into the holes, the old holes, and here I replaced the 3 little plastic clips of these finishing bolts. Did a much better job. No need to tap it or anything. It fit right in the hole. After that, excuse the gardener outside. Now I have to move to the left side. This is the harder side because this is where the fuse box is. This is where all the wires to the engine are. This is where all the good stuff is for all the wires and everything. So yeah, I had to do that, as well as I was also working on the interior wiring for all the speakers and sound system and everything, because I really wanted to go all out with all the wiring. So I grouped all those different wires together, and this is coming from inside the car now here. And as they come in, I started grouping them together, like where I wanted the groups to go of all the wires. And yeah, I then went and put this cheap what's it called, the coolant overflow tank here. Is also as I was working on the left side.
And this should do it for this episode. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Purple Titk out.